Hi, welcome to part 2 of the presentation on Oracle BI Publisher covering Web Center content as delivery channel. In part 1, we covered WCC integration overview and some of the concepts of WCC while setting up the environment. In this session, we'll see demonstration of this integration, and to start with, I'll log on to the WCC server. I go to administration, admin applets, and I bring up the configuration manager. So there are a few fields, and some of the custom metadata is created for the report that I'm going to demonstrate. So it has customer ID, country, city, customer demo name. For the purpose of demonstration of how we are going to add custom metadata, I'll quickly show by adding, instead of customer demo name, I'll add a custom metadata field with the name customer name. So the next screen allows me to select like what is the field type. So since it's a name, I'll keep the default text, and if the field is enabled to be shown on the user interface and for the search index, I'll keep it checked. So I'm okay to select this. So customer name is there. I would also like to create rule for this demonstration. So I'll add a rule. WCC demo rule, and I'll call it as rule for demo, and I can associate some fields to this. I'll select customer ID, give a required message. Field type for customer ID is required, so I'll make it required. I'll use customer name. I'll leave the field type as editable. I'll add one more, which is city. So 3 metadata fields I've added, and I'll click OK. So you can see WCC demo has been created. Now in the profiles, I'll use one of the existing profile, and I'll edit this, and I'll add this new rule that I've just created. Click OK. So I've created a rule, included it in my demo profile, and I'll just update the database design for the field that I've added. So this is done. So I'll close this. User admin is where you will be able to set up the user access. So I'll not go much deep into this, but you can add by clicking add user here, and for example, if I click on edit, you can see that for each user there is an associated role. So you can add what role and group or rights you can add. And this is where from security we should be able to add security group and provide the roles and permissions. So now we will go to BI Publisher admin page, and I'll sign in as a admin user. Navigate to administration page of BI Publisher, and under delivery you can see we have this new delivery channel content server. So I can add a new server. I can give a name here, and we need to provide a URI. So there is an example given here. So we can either use an HTTP connection or an intradoc connection, or we can use this IDC native views, which is basically a web services connection. So in this case, I'm not configured for IDC or the web services connection, because that will require some work on the WCC server. So right now I'm just going to use HTTP connection for this demonstration. Provide the username and password. So we can also do a test connection and see if it works. So the connection has been established, and you can see the new destination has been added here. One more thing we can do here is we can enable custom metadata. So let's apply this. So with this, the administrator role is done. Now we'll log in as a report author. So now I'm logged in as demo dev user, and I'll go to the catalog, and I'll show you the report that I have used for this demonstration. So under sample light, which comes as a default with the installation, under published reporting reports, you'll see custom orders report. So copy this, and the data model custom order report into WCC demo. So I've already done this. So I'll start from there. So I will use the data model first. You can see, it has got two data sets, and one has got customer name and customer information, and then the other one has order information, and there's a link between the two table, and it has got list of value and parameters being passed to the query. So first thing that you'll notice is custom metadata shows up. So since we enabled custom metadata, now this section gets enabled, and now I can select the server that I just configured. So I'll use this demo and the content profile that I created and WCC demo rule. So once I've selected the rule, I can load metadata. So you can see it has given me the metadata fields that is defined within the rule with the customer ID as a required value. So I have to have a value for customer ID. So I'll quickly map these. So customer name, customer ID, city, and I'll save. So I've done the custom metadata setting for this data model. Now the data model can be now used for a normal job delivery. But if we want to make it ready for bursting, so then we need to also define the bursting query. So what I'll do is I'll add a bursting query. I'll keep it as a SQL query, connect to the same data source, split by, I'll use customer ID, and customer ID same as, and to keep it simple. So it will slice the data by customer ID. And for the bursting query, I'll use a bursting query that I have kept with myself, and I'll use a copy paste to bring it here. Now I'll quickly go to the slide to explain what do you see in the bursting query. So there are standard metadata which are required fields. So when we deliver document to WCC, these metadata content, for example, content ID, type, title, they need to have a value. So these are required fields, and some of them can go as null values. When it comes to bursting definition, similar to how bursting has been defined for other delivery channels, we have parameter 1 to parameter 9 to handle the different delivery options or delivery configurations. So parameter 1 is for server name, parameter 2 for security group, and so on. And you can see the default values for each of these, where content ID is the one which gets automatically generated. So in the bursting query, you do not need to define parameter 8. It will get created automatically. And then you can include this option that do you want the custom metadata to be included. So parameter 9 will do that. Then we have certain metadata which gets generated automatically, or it's taken care by the application. For example, content type is always document, revision and release date, automatic generation. So they are not exposed in the bursting query. So we go back to the environment and we look at the bursting query. So you can see the other values are similar to other bursting query, where you have the key, template name, template format, locale, etc. And then you have parameter 1, 2, 3 defined for this query. So I save this query, and actually this data model is ready to be executed. One thing that we would like to do is we'll also make this bursting query available on the report definition. So I go to the catalog. In the report definition, I click on edit. I'll make sure that I map to the same data model. So I click on the data model icon here, and I'll choose the data model here. And under properties, I'll enable bursting, which is using burst to WCC as the bursting query. One more thing which this report has, we need to make sure that we remove that. So the PDF document is enabled for digital signature. So I'll make it false right now, so that it is not expecting a digital signature in. If we are not configured for that, then it may give me an error. So I'll just disable that for this demonstration. So I'm all set, and I'll once again save this and I'll sign out, and then log in as BI consumer. So demo consumer. So as a end user, now I should be able to either from my home page or go to the catalog and look at this report, and I should be able to run this report. So either I can open this and view this report, or I can schedule this. So I'll go ahead and schedule this report. So it brings up the parameters. I will do one thing. I'll select all as parameters so that it gives me all the customer names. And in the output tab, I use bursting definition to determine output and delivery destination as checked. I'll use the schedule frequency once and run now. And I'll not bother for the notification right now. So I'll quickly submit this. I can go to the catalog, and right from the report I can go to the history and view the history for this particular report. So it's running right now. So now you can see that the job is completed. So I click on the demo job for bursting and go to the job history details page, and I can see all the different sub jobs showing up in this list. I can click on the first one and take a look. So all the standard metadata shows up here and the custom metadata at the bottom, and it will allow me to view the document if I click on this hyperlink. So just like any other bursting, it has completed. And one more thing I will do here is um, go to the catalog and submit the report as a normal scheduled job. So once again, schedule. This time I will um, change the output. First, I'll make sure that the parameter is set to all. And then in the output, I'll remove the bursting definition option, and then it gives me the output table where I select the output format as PDF and give a destination as content server and add destination. So I can select the server, that configuration which I created. It will give me the security group. So now you'll notice one thing, that just like how in the data model it was able to bring the profile and the rule, similarly the security group is being brought from the WCC public secure or test group, which is existing in the WCC server. Right now it does not bring account because I have not configured account there. So I'll keep it default as security group public, and author is demo consumer. It's a required field. Other fields are not required, and it will default title to the report name. Similarly, file name will be default to the layout name dot file, and comments can be null. Include custom metadata option is given here. So if we like in this case, the report is going to come out as a single report with multiple customer orders. So we have to make sure that the custom metadata is relevant to the report. So if there is such metadata, we should include that. Otherwise, in this case, for example, I have set customer ID and customer name. Now that customer ID and customer name, there are multiple values, but for a single document, it is going to select the very first value. So it may not make sense in this case, but for demonstration purpose, I'm just keeping it as checked. So I'll use the same schedule, run now. Notification, I will not make any changes, and submit. So I come back to the catalog to view the history. So I can see that the job has completed, and if I click on this, it will show me one single output file. And if I expand this, it will show me the delivery metadata used, so the standard metadata and the custom metadata, since I had included the checkbox. And if I click on the output link, it will show me the report. So it has multiple customer orders here for different customers. So that completes the part of logging into BIPublisher as an end user and trying to schedule the report. Next, I will log into the WCC server and show you the report document in the WCC server. So I'll log into WCC first. And do a quick search. So I can see, the documents which came through bursting, and on the top is the one which I just submitted through a normal job. So we'll take a look at each of these. So first, the normal scheduled job. If I take a look at the information, so it has the customer ID, city, whatever customer name, these custom metadata, and all the standard metadata. And if I go back and click on this report, I should be able to see the output here. This one is a bigger document, so it takes a little while. Okay, and I can check the documents that came through bursting job. So if I take a look at this, you can see each of these documents came with city, customer name, security group, all the standard metadata and the customer metadata. Like say customer ID is the customer metadata here. And if I click on this, it should show me the bursted report for this particular customer. And I can as well do a search using standard search, and you can see all the reports for Milwaukee is showing up here. So if I go to the metadata, it shows me its city is Milwaukee. So it allows, the custom metadata allows you to make a search. Even, I can use the customer name here, Slater Goldie. So for example, if I use this and go back to the search and search by customer name, so it has two such records. I've run one in the past and then one which I've just completed in this demo. This completes this session on WCC as a delivery channel. Please refer to any of these sources if you need more information. Thank you very much.